guys, welcome back to the vlog. We're having a very cozy weekend. The weather this month has just been like this, gray and wet and a little bit depressing, but it's been a good time to just kind of stay in, power through all the stuff that I need to do and focus on my goals without really pushing it to the max. So I haven't been really hard on myself for not being very social and going out a lot this month because it's hibernation season, and I believe in starting the year in March, like with the spring equinox. And so this time of year is just more so for looking inward, figuring out the routines that you want to bring with you into the new year, and also letting go of the stuff that is not serving you anymore, which has been really therapeutic for me. Gastritis update. I have been feeling much better this week, knock on wood. I feel like every time I say I'm doing better, I get another flare up, so just want to be cautious with that. But I've just been really consistent with my diet again, which has been so nice after all the travel last month. So mostly the things that I'm doing differently, nothing revolutionary, but I'm eating 4 times a day, trying not to snack beyond that. I find that when I snack and don't give my digestion time to rest, that makes my symptoms worse. I've also been walking for 10 minutes after breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just on my walking pad. I bought a really cheap one recently during the winter sales. Cheap for a walking pad, just because I wanted to make it easier for me to get my steps in and do these little walks after every meal. Obviously I can go walk outside, but it's just a lot more convenient when I have, a busy work day at home, and I can just hop on real quick and get a couple extra steps in. So that's been really helpful for my digestion, I think. I'm also on week 3 of taking PC. I talked about this in a previous video, but PC is a supplement that I just recently discovered that is very promising when it comes to gastritis and bile reflux in particular. So I'm on week 3 of that. After another week, I'm going to increase it a little bit more, and we'll see how that keeps going. I'm really hopeful about it. I don't think it's just going to cure everything, solve everything, but I do think it is maybe helping me heal a little bit faster. I'm also waiting on the dreaded SIBO test. I've been waiting for it for months. At first I was ordering it through a pharmacy, and then they ordered the wrong one, and they're just not very good at communicating. So I ordered another test from a German company, and they tried to deliver it, but they had the wrong information, I guess. So it should arrive on Monday, and then I will prep for the SIBO test and let you guys know how that goes. I'll probably film the SIBO test either on here or for TikTok. I don't know yet. I just want to show people how easy it is to do at home. What else? Oh, during the night, if I do feel any discomfort when I'm going to sleep, which is the only time I ever really get symptoms, I have been using a heating pad, which I never thought to do because I didn't think it would help me because I have more of upper, GI issues. I didn't think a heating pad would help that, but it has been so helpful and really comforting. I think it has to do with the vagus nerve and just calming my anxiety and kind of taking out the scariness of nighttime for me, because I'm kind of always dreading nighttime. It's the only time I get symptoms, so it's subconsciously a stressful time for me. But I just have this cutie little one, and I just fill it up with hot water and put that kind of on my left side, and it makes me feel so much more relaxed and calm. I don't know if you guys have tried this with a heated blanket or something, but I highly recommend, if you have nighttime symptoms and nighttime anxiety, get something heated, whether it's a blanket or a hot water bottle or a heating pad, whatever. Yeah, that's been really helpful for me, actually. So, pro tip. But yeah, besides that, my health has felt pretty good this week, and I haven't been very strict with my diet. The only thing I'm absolutely not having right now is alcohol and, of course, coffee. I haven't had coffee in a while. I miss coffee. I miss coffee so much. I think I would rather have coffee than alcohol at this point. It would be nice to enjoy. But speaking of which, I'm going to make my kind of my usual latte, what I make every day. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I usually ask my husband to make it for me because our coffee machine is kind of complicated. So this might be a fail, but regardless, I'll show you what I use to make my latte. It's not a latte at all. It's just froth milk with carob powder, which is kind of like fake chocolate. Let's go. All right, the first thing I do is just grab a clean cup, obviously, and then this is the powder I use. It's carob powder by the brand Rapunzel. I get it at a health store here in Italy, but any pure carob powder will do. Basically what carob is just a different type of like cocoa bean, but it doesn't have caffeine in it like actual cocoa does, which is the main issue with chocolate, if you didn't know. It also has less fat than cocoa, so it's just an all-around safer option for gastritis. Again, everyone's different, so this might not work for everybody in the world, but it does sit pretty well with me. I just have it with some almond milk. So I'm just gonna take like a teaspoonful, about that much, put it in here. And then my husband always adds a little bit of water just to kind of mix up the clumps first. It's not very much, but it's just enough to liquefy it. Okay, and now the part that I'm really bad at, the milk frothing. I don't know how to hold this right. Should I look it up? See, that's how I know it's wrong, when it makes a loud noise. Hang on, I'm gonna Google it. Okay, I failed the frothing part. I need to learn how to do this, but the gist is still the same. So, that's my coffee. It's really good. I used to make this all the time with turmeric powder. I've just been a little bit hesitant about using turmeric powder lately as it can increase bile. So I'm just pausing on that for now. I shared this on Shorts, but I don't know if all of you guys got a chance to see it. I made this flow chart, which kind of outlines all of the different testings that you can explore if you have gastritis and gut issues and you just want to get to the root cause. I'm always talking about the root cause. I'm always talking about the root cause and how that's key to really find healing if you have chronic gastritis. If you have acute gastritis, it's less relevant. With acute gastritis, it's more like you should usually just either treat the H. pylori, if that's what caused it, and stick to a bland diet for 3 months. That's more straightforward. But if you have chronic gastritis, it can be caused by so many different imbalances and things in the body. So this is the flow chart, which I'll walk you through if you didn't get a chance to watch my short on it. So if you have symptoms of burning, heartburn, nausea, etc., test for H. pylori. First and foremost, get tested for H. pylori. It's a very common cause of gastritis, and leaving it untreated can cause some serious damage. So you want to get tested for that before you start any PPIs or antibiotics. A lot of times doctors will start you on PPIs and then test you for H. pylori, but that's totally wrong. Just want to be clear on that. So get tested for that. If you're positive, then you can start exploring treatment options. Antibiotics is usually the way to go. There are some risks with taking antibiotics and having gut issues, so you just want to be really cautious when you take them. Make sure you're taking a solid probiotic with the antibiotics and make sure that you're never taking them on an empty stomach. If you're negative for H. pylori, this is where things get a little more complicated, but it's okay. There's always a pathway to take. So this is when you want to push for an endoscopy, especially if your symptoms don't go away with PPIs and you're just feeling no relief after months. Get an endoscopy, and the endoscopy typically can show you 4 different things. It can show you if you have any bile in your stomach. This is not a direct bile reflux diagnosis, but it can imply that you have bile reflux issues. So check that out. You can see what kind of gastritis you have, whether it's atrophic or chemical gastritis, mild. Like, it can tell you what level the gastritis is at, basically. It can also show if you have any ulcers that you need to take care of. It can also show you the location of the inflammation, which can be relevant depending on, what treatment options there are. After you do the endoscopy and you're kind of trying to address whatever outcome you have found with the endoscopy, there are a couple of different options. You can do some acid tests to see if acid is actually at the root cause of the problem for you. So you can do a Heidelberg pH test, you can do a pH impedance test, and you can do a Bravo capsule. Those will all kind of give you a little bit of a clearer idea on what the acid issue itself is, as opposed to just, saying, oh, I have acid reflux and I need to take a PPI forever. Like, to me, that's not a solution. You can also do some bile tests if you do find bile in the stomach. You can get an ultrasound, which can show you kind of a bird's eye view of how your gallbladder and liver are functioning. You can also do a HITA scan that is a little bit more in depth. And then you can test your liver enzymes to see if your liver is properly excreting those enzymes. If you kind of go through most of this and you're still not really clear or you want deeper answers, these are some wonderful functional tests that you can try. A comprehensive stool test gives you a really good idea on what's going on in your gut. If there are underlying overgrowth issues, bacteria issues, this is a really good place to start. SIBO breath test. I talk about SIBO all the time. I think I might have SIBO. I know a lot of people that do have SIBO, and when treated, were able to heal their gastritis. So SIBO is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. That can either cause gastritis or it can be caused by gastritis. It's kind of a vicious cycle, but SIBO is another way to go. I've actually been told by a doctor that SIBO is extremely uncommon and that it's unlikely I have it, and she refused to give me a SIBO test. Like, the things that doctors have told me, they've wasted so much time, I swear to God. You could do some food sensitivity testing. A lot of times people with gluten and dairy intolerances have a difficult time healing their gastritis because they don't realize that they're intolerant. But there are some other food intolerance that you might have that can help you in your healing if you just cut those foods out. And then last but not least, micronutrient deficiency. You should always get a blood panel before any of this stuff. However, a lot of panels don't cover all of the nutrients that you need for healthy digestion. And a lot of the time on the results of your blood panel, it will say you're in a normal range, but even if you're on a lower end of that normal range, that could be affecting your digestion. So just because you're in the normal range doesn't mean that it's completely okay and not causing an issue. That's why I don't really love a lot of the things that doctors do, honestly, because it's just like they write off so many things that can be key to your healing. So keep pushing. If you really have a gut feeling, no pun intended, about what is causing your symptoms, keep pushing for testing. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to be dramatic and over-exaggerate, because unless you are severely anemic, losing a ton of weight, bleeding internally, doctors treat most cases of gastritis as if they're not severe. Even if it feels severe to you, it can be really unvalidating to go to a doctor and hear like, well, nothing is giving me any red flags, so we don't think there's any need for further testing. It's often helpful to get further testing. Don't take that first response as the final response. Keep pushing, switch doctors if you have to, get the testing done. I really, really believe testing is key to healing for good. And I think it's why so many people struggle to heal and take years to heal, myself included, because doctors have a very kind of structured, programmatic way in which they respond to general GI symptoms. And that's, here's a PPI, maybe an H. pylori test, and yeah, keep on the PPI for weeks to months to even years. So in my opinion, it's really irresponsible, and sometimes we just have to take matters into our own hands to really get what we need. I digress. That's my soapbox. That's my controversial take in the health medical world. I think doctors are important. I think it's good that we go get testing. I think we should regularly check in with a doctor, but that doesn't mean that every single thing they say is fact or correct, and that it shouldn't be checked. And on that note, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's vlog. Let me know what kind of content you want to see in the future. I've been trying to post once a week, and I'm always open to suggestions. Like, you tell me what you want to see. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.